We are live. So we are notifying some of our subscribers that we are on. We'll have some folks join shortly. But I'm very excited to have this opportunity to speak with you, Jose Luis, and learn a little bit more about your story and how the campaign is going. And then I know some of our folks are also joining to help figure out why your election matters, why this political moment is important. So we'll get to all of those topics. But first, we'll give a chance to some folks to join.
Absolutely.
Welcome. And I'll say a little bit about Latino Victory. As you know, Latino Victory is a national organization very much focused on building Latino political power at all levels of government so that our voices and our values could be reflected in the policies that move our country forward. So we're very, very excited to have this conversation with Jose Luis Pacheco, who's a member of the CalPERS board and who is running for reelection this important year. So, Jose Luis, why don't we start? Tell me a little bit about your story, how you came to be, and the work that you do within the CalPERS board.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, Catherine, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity and the privilege to be on this forum. I really appreciate it. I think of it as an honor and a privilege to be able to speak to not only to the CalPERS members that may be joining on this forum, but also to the general public. For me, being on the CalPERS board is very, very personal. It comes from my roots. I tell everybody I go to all these meetings. I'm a farm boy. I grew up in Watsonville, California. I don't know many people know what Watsonville is, but it's the
Where is that?
very Pajaro Valley, the Pajaro Valley area of Watsonville in the Monterey Bay, Central Park, agricultural community. We're famous for Martinelli apple juice and Driscoll strawberries. That's our world. And I grew up there. That's my home. I'm a farm boy, and I tell people I prefer the country than over the cities because I feel so rooted in the home of that place. And my family, my mom and dad, were campesinos, farm workers. And then later on, my father got sick and my mom went to the unemployment office actually and got a grant for my dad and my mom to go to community college. And my mom was able to go to Cabrillo College, a community college, to learn how to type. And my father learned how to do horticulture. And they moved into the middle class. But what really made the motivation was my mother. My mom became a telephone worker for the phone company, and she became a union member for the Communication Workers of America. And I saw my mother fight for everyone, for all the folks as a union member when she was there at the telephone company. And she's my example of that. And I have used that example and implement that. So now I am a second generation union member for the CSCA. I'm the past president of my chapter at the San Jose Evergreen Community College District. I work as a software engineer for the school system, but then most of my time now is on the CalPERS board. But because of those two items, those two elements, and my mother's motivation and everything else, it has propelled me to do this because I feel when I saw how my mom retired with her pension and with her lifetime medical for my mom and dad, and especially for my mom and dad right now, because both of them have diabetes and they have to get all the medication and so forth. It really helps. And I want to make sure that the 2.3 million folks on the CalPERS board also retire with dignity and respect, as well as the 1.5 million folks that we insure through the health benefits through CalPERS. I'm not sure you all know, but CalPERS is the second largest purchaser of health benefits in the United States, second only to the government, to the United States government. So those are the elements that I want to share with you all.
Thank you, Jose Luis. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the CalPERS board is actually the largest pension fund in the United States. And
Uh,
so beyond the service to the retirees, right? And with healthcare and obviously in terms of being good stewards of their pension, Can you tell us a little bit? And I love the fact that you shared the story about your mom, sort of instilling in you that importance of organized labor. And we are coming into big elections. There's a political angle there as well, because labor unions are a big part of our political infrastructure and the civic life. So there's some responsibility there as well to educate your members on the importance of voting and the importance of the work that you do. Tell me a little bit more about that activism and how the labor movement really has changed over the years that you've been a member of the CalPERS board and also knowing from your mom.
Oh my God, it's an incredible story, and thank you for that question. The labor movement has been incredible. As I mentioned before, I am a proud labor union member of CSCA and member in good standing, and we have done so many things at CalPERS, as you mentioned. That's true. CalPERS, we're the largest pension system in North America now at $556 billion assets under management, almost more than a half a trillion. Just think of that number. That's amazing. Last year alone, and this is a crazy number, we paid out $32 billion in retiree benefits, pension payments out. That's incredible. That's the size of some world countries in the global economy. The powerhouse of CalPERS it's an incredible place. And the movement that we've done in CalPERS is making sure that as board members, our primary duty as a board member is our fiduciary duty of loyalty to the system and to our 2.3 million members. That is the key there. And to do that without any political influence, making sure that we are focused on that, and that is our focus. And then for me, as a board member, I make sure that we advocate for those things. We advocate for our labor principles, our CalPERS labor principles, making sure that the companies that we invest in don't utilize child labor, for instance, or are respect persons that want to unionize, because it's important. Unions work. Unions are beautiful because we are the people. The unions are people, and we can do so much for the world in that world. And that's the apparatus of that, and that provides us the opportunity for that to do that. So I feel really good about that, and there are so many things that we are doing. Like for instance, there was a particular bill that we just passed. We supported recently at our last board meeting on our offsite in Monterey. It was called the SB 351. It's about private equity, but private equity with respect to healthcare facilities. Now, that's been in the news a lot with respect to private equity trying to gobble up and roll up all these healthcare plans, and also trying to dictate what is proper medicine for folks. We made this bill that's going through the California legislation, will say now, it will codify in law that only the doctors dictate what is proper medical judgment, and not the private equity, business managers. That's not their role. Doctors went to medical school, nurses went to nursing school. They do that, and those are the things that we are moving in, and that's because of the movement of the labor movement pushing those initiatives forward, and I am so proud to be part of that equation.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that the labor movement is really responsible for a lot of the benefits we all enjoy, whether it be paid days off for sick leave or family leave or vacation or even the holidays that we enjoy, medical benefits, workplace rights. Really, there are so many issues that are important to working people that have been made better as a result of the labor movement. So I really applaud the work that you've done and that you continue to do. I know you're running for reelection. What's your plan for these next 4 years?
Well, my plans for these next 4 years is, number one, the most important thing is to make sure that we continue with our success with our fund. Another point I wanted to mention to you is that we did very well with our investments. We made 11.6 percent return on our investment. We beat our benchmarks. We beat our discount rate of 6.8%, which is our benchmark with respect to how we make our money. And not only that, we increased it. We increased our funded status from 75% to 79%. Now, for those folks who don't understand what that means is that that's the ability for us to pay out benefits, retiree benefits to our folks. So as the number goes higher, then that means that the unfunded liability, the amount that needs to be funded to support that, is reduced. So we are in that process, and we are a long-term investor in doing this. So that's one thing. The second thing that's important is to making sure that we keep a lid on the rising healthcare costs. So that is really an important area. We recently moved to a new benefit pharmaceutical benefit management contract person, which is CVS Cinmark, CVS Caremark, and that is we put in place some really novel contractual language that will set the standard for the entire nation in terms of benchmarks on making sure that when people get their medication, it's working for them, that there are adequate benchmarks and guardrails in place so that we keep a check on the rising costs, because we know pharmaceutical costs are one of the number one drivers of medical inflation. And we at CalPERS have we made a standard. We set the standard for that, and that's what it's important about CalPERS, is that we set the standard. We're a quiet little group, but my goodness, we do a lot behind the scenes, and it's myself and of course my board. But I as the only elected Latino on this board, I come from life experience, because I came poor. I grew up poor. I was only given the privilege and the opportunity to go to Santa Clara University to get a degree in economics, and in other schools in my life. But because of the graciousness and the of good people who gave me the opportunity to be where I am today, to serve, to be a service to others, because that's how I feel. I want to serve the members, and it's always been my dream, and so I feel good about what I'm doing for my
It's a
folks.
calling. It's a calling.
It's a call, and my mother tells me that she said, I was going to go to Santa Clara University, and my mom really wanted me to be a Jesuit, and I didn't pursue that, because I tell people it's because I got a girlfriend in my junior year, and it changed my whole perspective. When mother found out, she said, "Oh, son, ¿qué pasó contigo?" And then but yeah, I wanted to be a Jesuit at one time, but it was good. It was good. It was all good.
The idea
It's
went
still
out the
it's still
window.
yeah, it's still I'm still doing good. I'm still doing good in a different way now.
Definitely. And here's the thing, right? With everything that's happening in our country today, I think uh, all workers, but specifically public employees as well, are concerned about the future of their jobs, the future of their pensions, certainly the future of healthcare benefits. And the fact is that that uncertainty is also what's driving a lot of what's going on with the markets. So, with your role with CalPERS, right? Of course, as a pension fund and investors, there's a lot that you can do in that respect. I appreciate that your number one priority is always being a good steward of your members, and certainly keeping the cost of healthcare down is important. But is there anything that you can say to public employees that might be concerned about their future based on what's going on in America today?
Yeah, I think the number one thing for public employees, and thank you for that question, is, you know, um, there are many facets in public employees that we need to consider. In California, one of the most important things is to making sure that we address the issues of PEPRA versus Classic. And what that means is that in 2020 in 2013 there was a law that was passed that separated the tiers between persons that retire who were hired before 2013 and ones that were hired after 2013, and that created a two-tier system. I belong to the latter, to the PEPRA members. I was hired after 2013 at the San Jose Evergreen Community College District. So what it means is that the folks that are in the PEPRA branch, we pay more into the system, we get less, and the ones that were before get are it's a good system. We know we have to find some way of addressing that. We were addressing that with a particular bill. We had a bill that was in the legislation, AB 1383, I believe. But it's now become a 2-year bill. But it is something that we are trying to address because we have to retain public employees. We have to tell them, look, there's opportunities here to help us work. We need police officers, we need firefighters, we need teachers, we need paraeducators, we need clerical folks to help us because being working in the public sector world, it's you don't make a lot of money, but what gives you the stability of it is the pension and the defined benefit associated with that. And also, if you are up and then certain agencies that have the health benefits that can be for life. So yes, yes, ma'am.
No, for sure. And I think that governments all around the country, right, are looking at public employee benefits as a way to cut budgets, right? At a time where, the average American feels oppressed by taxes. And so there's always a balance in terms of what you can do and shouldn't do. But it's also about retaining good talent. So I know that that's a fight that you're dedicating to as well in terms of building an infrastructure where we could have good workers with decent wages and good benefits, and at the same time protect our communities. So tell me a little bit about the political side. How's the campaign going? Do you knock on doors? We have a
Oh
lot of
my.
grassroots organizers who
Oh,
follow us. So I would like love to know how you run for CalPERS board when the average voter doesn't really vote for you necessarily. It's mostly the membership, correct?
that is
So,
correct. That is
so
correct.
how do those elections happen for the organizers in the room?
Oh no, my goodness, my goodness! It is a very unique process, and let me give you a little tidbit about it. So the information, the actual voter file. Let's say there's a voter file. There really isn't a voter file. So you don't know who is a CalPERS member, and you don't know who is a CalPERS member at all because that information is not disclosed. We know you can go to the voter files and say you're a Democrat, an Independent, a Republican, whatever. That's information is out there in the public domain. But CalPERS, you don't find out. So you have to utilize other resources to find that out. And then finding out who they are, then you figure out the data system and so forth to do outreach in that area. And that's what we're doing right now. So we are in the process of doing a lot of outreach. It's a lot. It takes a lot of money. I have outraised I have not outraised everybody yet, but I'm still raising money. But yeah, it is a tough race, and I have to continuously make phone calls, talk to people, ask for contributions. And if your folks here on this forum would be willing, please donate to my campaign. It's www.pachecoforcalpers.com, and every dollar, whether it's $5, a dollar, $10, anything you can do, will be tremendous. Will be a tremendous service for our system. But it's really important. The outreach is important, going out and telling people over and over and over again the message of that I'm here to serve, that I am a steward of the system, that I don't I don't I focus on my fiduciary duty of loyalty, with free from any political influence, and making sure that I protect the privacy of our members' information. because a couple years back we were thinking about releasing the data, and I was very against that, and that's in because that information would have exposed our retirees to bad actors, and also to our police officers and our firefighters, our first responders, because particular bad people could get that information and retaliate against them. So those are important elements that we have to play, because the information at CalPERS is sacred, and the data is sacred, and it has been locked up for 93 years. And as long as I'm on the board, I will continue to make sure it's locked up.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that with us. And really, the fact is that given the size of your pension system and the size of your membership, as well as its influence, certainly keeping that safety component in place is important. So, thank you for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit about California and sort of, all the experience that you have working with your members. You talked about, your farm experience, and not necessarily liking the big cities, but obviously we've had a lot in the news recently in California, particularly with Los Angeles. Is there anything that you can share with us on how you feel your Latino community is faring at this moment in time? And certainly, if there is anything that the CalPERS board has been involved with from an advocacy perspective.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking for that. I know we've been advocating for our our brothers and sisters in labor in the California system. We are Many of our board members are as you may know, out of the 13 of our board members, there are six of us that are elected, and us six, we come from labor background. So we have all in each of us in our own from our with our own respective unions and affiliations. We have been helping our community. As I help my community as well, in terms of making sure that we elect persons that align with our values. I serve as a I have a non-delegate role at the South Bay Labor Council in San Jose, California, and I help my brothers and sisters in all kinds of labor positions. I also am, I don't know if you all know, but I've been endorsed by a variety of unions, from the Teamsters District Council 42 to iLuna, Local 792, Operating Engineers Local 3. All those folks have endorsed me because of my stewardship in terms of helping our community. California is very unique. We have such a unique perspective, and as you know, I live in San Jose, so I'm actually I enjoy my city too, but I still enjoy my country. But both areas are important because we have to make sure that we balance that. And I've been very key about that. So we are doing our best in helping our community and helping address the issues of our community and making sure that we move things forward. And it's because it's important. We live in a very uncertain time, a lot of volatility, especially around the marketplace, for instance. And coming back to CalPERS, but again, one of the most important things about CalPERS is that we're a long-term investor. We are always looking at the long term, 20, 30, 40 years from now, where we're going to be. And we are pushing the envelope in so many different places with respect to sustainable investments, for instance. We have not gone, we are still aligning ourselves to making sure that we align with the Paris climate agreements. So we are going to make sure that we have our emissions, we cut our emissions and our investments by zero emissions by 2050, by half by 2030. We're still doing that, regardless of whatever the politics is around us and the political issues that are around us. We are still focused on making sure we do that, and
And,
also
and
we are
climate change is such an important issue for California, as you've seen.
absolutely. It is so important, but we have to make sure that we have a very good framework around that, especially around just transition frameworks. And we have to make sure that we address all those issues involved because we don't want to displace any communities. Recently in the news, there has been news about shutdowns on, proposed shutdowns of oil refineries in Carson, California, and up in Benicia. You know, we have to address those issues because those are super important, and because they would impact Latino communities, hardworking people who are working their families. A lot of them are union members, and they are supporting the lifeblood of those communities in those particular areas. And I'm here as a board member, making sure that we move that forward, that we maintain that, and we maintain those good paying jobs, because not just the jobs themselves, but they support a community, they support tax bases, they support homes, they support other people, they support the schools. It's multifaceted, and I feel as a board member, we want to make sure that we invest in our money. We want to maximize the returns, but there are so many other things that we do with the CalPERS board that we impact. And in November, I invite your members to read the California Impact Report in our November meeting, which
Mhm.
highlights all the awesomeness that we do for California through the CalPERS Fund. And it is something that I always talk about because I tend to always ask a lot of questions of the board, and that is one of my favorite reports because it really highlights the awesomeness of California.
Thank you for that. And we really appreciate you, Jose Luis, being on that board, as well as the only Latino member. Certainly there's a lot that you bring to the table, but representation, as you know, matters. And so we are proud as Latino Victory to have endorsed your reelection. We know you're going to continue doing amazing work within the board. We expect you to continue to be very vocal and ask a lot of questions and push the envelope when needed, because that's exactly the kind of representation that the CalPERS members need and demand. So we are excited to continue supporting you as you get through this election. Wish you the best of luck. Are there any final words that you want to share with our folks here on Substack? For those who might have joined late, we are here with Jose Luis Pacheco, who's a member of the CalPERS board and who is running for reelection. One of Latino Victory's endorsed candidates, doing good work out in California, the largest pension system in America. So tell us, Jose Luis, any final words?
Well, first of all, thank you, Catherine, for everything. I really do appreciate. I am honored and privileged to have received the endorsement of the Latino Victory Fund, and for all the folks that believe in my campaign. I'm as I tell everybody, I have 2.3 million bosses, but beyond that, not only just the bosses in the system, but I get a lot of questions from the public about CalPERS, and it's super important. So anybody, I always tell everybody, if you have any questions or anything like that, please reach out to me. If you go to the CalPERS website, you'll see my email, but I can say it right now. It's my campaign email is info at pacheco for pacheco for calpers.com. Info at pacheco for calpers.com. Please send me an email. Please inform me. And also, like I said before, every dollar counts. So if you all can, donate even $1, $5, $10 to the campaign, $25, please reach out to www.pachecoforcalpers.com. It'd be really appreciated. And thank you again, Catherine, for everything. And thank you for everyone on this forum to be able to listen to my story.
Thank you, Jose Luis. We appreciate you, and we appreciate everyone joining today, as well as those who will watch this Substack later on. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.